Morning, everyone.
Morning. I guess Bill's not here yet, but it's after 9, so we might as well get started. So I'll call the meeting to order at 9:03, I guess. First thing is the adoption of the agenda. Everyone's had a look at that. Any additions or we want to put on there? If not, I need a resolution to adopt the agenda.
I'll bring it forward.
Terry, the seconder.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Yes.
Disclosure of pecuniary interest. Does anyone have anything to declare?
Nothing here.
Being none, we'll go on to the minutes. Everyone had a copy of the minutes. Any problems, omissions, errors? If not, I need the resolution to adopt the minutes.
I'll make a resolution to adopt the minutes.
Moved by Jim, seconded by Richard. All in favor? Carried. Business arising from the minutes. Anything to talk about there? If not, we'll go on to the financials. Everyone has a copy of those. Any questions? Everything looked pretty straightforward to me. I don't think anything's out of line there. I think our ice rentals may be a little higher than we anticipated, which is never a bad thing. But everything else looks in line. Any questions, concerns there? If not, I need a resolution to adopt the financial statements. Terry,
I'll bring it forward.
Okay, seconder, Jim.
Second, Jim. Yes.
All in favor?
Yes.
Carried. Staff reports.
I believe we have any staff reports through the chair. There will be something come up after. Maybe we could do 8-1 and 8-2, the updates from minor hockey and skating club, and then we can carry on with the craft after that.
Nothing weird. Okay. Okay, we'll go on to the skating club update. Jim?
Yes, we got to I'd like to think it's a successful year with the skating board.
Thank you. I guess Terry, you're up. Minor hockey. I'm sure you got a little bit to report there.
Yeah. First, I just want to thank Adam and his group and Leah and your group for helping us get through the last 6 weeks of crazy requests and asks and demands and everything that we brought to the town. It's been really appreciated. As far as the hockey goes, we've had our AGM last week. We have a few new members on the board. We're trying to get everybody allocated into places, and we're trying to get the next season started as far as getting ice rental possibilities and numbers and registration opened and just changing gears till next season. This weekend we have our little fun day for the kids and the teams on Sunday, and we'll be at the arena for that. And then outside of that, we're looking pretty good for next season already.
You had some, I think the one team made it to the finals, got beat out in a close game.
Yeah, the U11s lost in the finals in their OMHA game. U18s actually played really good. A couple bad bounces in the first couple games cost them own goals and stuff like that. But they would have had a good run, I think, if they would have got past the round robin. But U11s, yeah, they should have won. They just 2 kids shut them down. Yeah, it's frustrating to watch.
Thanks. And I think on behalf of the board, we have to thank minor hockey for grabbing hold of that craft thing. I'm sure I mean, it was very successful, a lot of work, very well done. Okay. I guess staff operations update.
We have successfully taken the ice out, cleaned up, and we're just preparing for the minor hockey event on Sunday. But yeah, it was a longer than anticipated season, but we ended with quite the event. So nice to see the building full to capacity. So.
Yep, from an operations side, one other thing is, as you all know, we had put a draw out for the advertising on the Zamboni. We had one of the advertisers that was withdrawing from that spot. So Brittany had sent an email, a letter out to all the people that do sponsor in the arena, advertising the arena, and anybody that was interested in filling that spot on the Zamboni was to get back to us. And we did have that draw, and Salis Mutual was the successful advertiser for that. So we've been working with them now to get them the information they need to go ahead and get that done up to put on. So just an update on that. And I guess the last thing really is obviously everybody does know Craft Hockeyville. West Lorne was the winner this year, and with that comes $250,000 to spend on the arena itself. So I think it's we need to just discuss how we move forward with trying to determine what would be the best ways to spend that money. I don't know, Ken, do you want me to kind of share what I was thinking, or do you want to?
No, you go ahead. I think we're on the same page.
So I guess from our point of view, from staff's point of view, I think that rather than burdening the board here with the work of trying to sort this out, my recommendation would be to create a committee for that. Probably a couple representatives from each of the main 2 user groups, and a couple from staff. 6, 7, 8 people tops. If you get them too much bigger than that, you can really get bogged down. So, and the idea behind that is to, as a committee, they can meet and sit down and discuss, where they see the arena going and what they feel would be the, they can prioritize what they feel would benefit the most from the use of that money. And then once they kind of have some ideas together, they can bring that back to the board and share that with them and kind of go about it that way. If you want to expand on that.
Lee and I did have that discussion, and I think we were in agreement that was the best way. I think minor hockey needs to take a bit of the lead there because they've done so much work and they are the main users, and the same with skating. I think they should be involved. It's easy for us to think what we should do there, but we're not in it using it every day. So I'm sure the staff involvement. I did talk to the chief billing official from West Elgin. We run into him quite regularly, of course, and he can't sit on the committee, but he's certainly willing to attend a few meetings just to make sure that you don't get, there's sometimes different ways of doing things that are better than others. So he said he was certainly willing to do that. So go ahead, Jim. Corey Pemberton, he's a counselor in Dutton, so kid's been through the minor hockey there, so he's a good person to have on side.
I think the thoughts with having the chief building official, if he's willing to attend a couple of those committee meetings, is just as we kind of start to brainstorm what we would like to do with the building. We don't want to spend a lot of time on something that he would look at and say it's not possible, right? So I think his technical input, because it's going to involve alterations, obviously, to the arena, I think that his input would be valuable at the start. And then, you know, once we get a little bit farther into it, obviously that all that information would come back to this group here. And
there would be engineers involved determining what can be done and what can't be done, and rules and regulations. And okay.
Yeah, because one of the things will be anytime you touch the building, you'll have to bring it up to standards. Yep. So, and there'll be AODA standards involved in that too, which Corey would be aware of.
Okay.
Under the building code.
Okay. Yeah. So 250,000 from Kraft, and there's money coming in from the council. Is that correct?
150,000 from West Elgin Council. Yeah.
Okay. Will there be any fundraising to generate more potential cash flow going forward? Can't do that. Oh, we can't. Right.
As in the municipality.
The municipality can. Okay.
That's where it falls on us. I think we got to pull up our socks and do something, right?
Just so you're aware, you can't use any lottery funds.
Right.
But otherwise, yes, you can do anything else. But
yeah.
To go back to Jim's comment from the Dutton Dunwich side, we had already approved our budget, so we couldn't throw any money in this year. But I mean, we have an agreement in place to support the arena, and we'll certainly live up to that agreement once it gets along a little further. So
just an idea to throw into that. So I know I live in Southwest Middlesex, and they're renovating their arena. They're doing sponsorships, selling $100 sponsorships for plaques on the wall for just 100 or at minimum. So I don't know the idea of that as a sponsorship towards that. I don't know how Hockeyville would see that though.
I don't think they would mind based on some of the conditions I've seen them ask. They're more concerned that they see the building, like the funds get used properly. They don't care if it's this year, next year, or 10 years down the road. They just want to see the funds get used.
Because we've done really well with our baskets. They're now all sold out. So I don't know, people might be interested because we can give charity donate, like we can give charitable receipts for that, or donation.
So, and I think Terry makes a good point here is that, and certainly, you know, Ken, you said that Dutton already was committed for this year, but this isn't something that's going to take place this year. Even next year is going to be pretty challenging by the time we finally work through what it is we want to do, number one. And then to Ken's point, you know, once we kind of have it in our mind, or once we've narrowed down the possibilities, it's going to be having engineers involved to determine, right, to provide us some estimates as far as costs, right, and how much. And maybe it's a project that we can do with the funds that are already have been allocated, and maybe it's a project that we are going to have to put money aside for, you know, and do it 2 or 3 years down the road. So I think that the first step really is just to determine what it is that group or this group feels is the most valuable way to spend that money at the arena, and then move forward from there.
yeah, I agree with Lee. And once we get an idea where we're going, there may be some other grants come up as well, too. You know, and sometimes there's accessibility grants when you get into doing that portion, and who knows what happens in capital. So yeah, I think it's a great project, and it's takes some long-term planning to get going, but I'm certainly it'll be a great thing when it's done. So you had no problems, Terry, with committee, and you think that's the right way to go?
Yeah, I think that's really the only way to go. It kind of just takes all the headaches and puts it in one spot until they figure out everything, then dish it out after.
Yeah, I agree. Anything else? I think that everybody's in agreement where we're headed with that, so that's good. We should probably do a resolution, I guess. So
yeah, you can set a number and have someone provide names after, like who you want. So you could say you want one representative or like two representatives from minor hockey, one from the skating club, two staff members. You can set it out that way if you want, or I don't know.
Yeah.
And if you want someone from the community, what do you I guess it's kind of how you want to do it.
So as the skating club representative, I can delegate somebody then. Take the pressure off me.
They're always interesting projects to sit in, Jim, but you need someone who's a user there and understands things, I think. And I mean, I don't know if you want to do something from men's hockey or whatever the groups there are there. I don't know if that's really even necessary, but don't want to leave anyone out either if you think they should be there. So
I personally think that most of the stuff that has been put forth is more related to the two youth groups. Definitely concerning minor hockey with the additional change rooms and stuff. So their input would be most valuable.
okay, so do you want to do? I guess we need a resolution to form the subcommittee. So we're talking two from minor hockey, one from skating, two staff. If that's that makes sense, then we'll need a mover and a seconder for that.
I'll move it.
You need a seconder?
Yes.
Jim, second. Okay. All in favor?
Yes.
Carried. I guess the other thing that we probably should have talked a bit about too is in the financial report is where we're going with the dehumidifier. I think we've got about 140,000 set aside for that. I don't think that's going to take a bit of work too to go through the tender process and everything. So I don't know what Lee's plans are. Is that something you want to start moving on this year, or do you want to wait till next year?
I think at this point, I think that's something that we would wait and look to do next year. Obviously, that's work that's going to have to be done in the summertime when the ice is out. To do that this year, I would say that this year is going to be busy and there's going to be a lot going on. We don't really know, and maybe Terry or Adam, you guys may know better in having the discussions with Kraft where things are kind of still up in the air with what they're doing. As far as plans moving through the summer and into September when they have the game planned. So, to have a bunch of work happening. Number one, I think we're too short on time now to get that together. And number two, I wouldn't want to have the building all tore apart and doing replacement work when they're, wanting to come in and be in the facility. So I would say that's something, if we're going to look at doing that we could go through that process of tendering late fall into the winter time and have things in place to do it as soon, like when the ice comes out next spring.
I think we got a price of 180 for that, but that was 3 years ago. So it's probably gone up a little bit.
Well, and we'll provide some options too. I mean, the system that we spoke about and what we've kind of been gearing towards is a whole facility system. So that's going to make the building usable year round, right? Even when it's warm outside. If you could save money and replace the system like for like with what's in there right now, but that's not going to help you in that off season. So we'll get some options together and bring that back.
I did discuss with Lee the other day that if we were a little short of funds for that, there is that option to go to Green Lane Trust. I don't know if West Albin's ever gone that way, but you're certainly entitled to, and jointly sometimes that helps. We've gone a couple times. They gave us $30,000 towards the playground equipment in Iona, but they like to see tenders and the whole shoot match before we do that. It's money that's sitting there and we're entitled to it because we take our waste to the landfill site. So it's a pretty simple application, but it is out there, and even minor hockey or something could use that if they're aware of it.
So West Elgin does have one. I don't know if it's just us or it was the Bo Horvat.
Oh.
So we have money sitting there as part of the Bo Horvat thing.
Yeah.
And actually, maybe back to Hockeyville, we've talked to Bo and his family, and I know you guys had talked to Kraft about doing the renaming at the same time, and they're very willing to do whatever anybody wants to do. And the idea was if they can get the Islanders to play the game kind of thing. So.
Yeah, I think I don't go ahead, Jim.
Just in regards to the project that we're kind of looking at, the HVAC, would it be wise to put that out to work with the potential Kraft money if we're going to renovate the building and so on and so forth? Do it all at that time instead of getting something done and find out we got to make some major changes.
Well, I think that'll fall partially to the committee. Like once we have a better idea of what we'd like to do with those Kraft funds, certainly if it's a project that's going to involve, like work, then there would be cost savings in doing it all together as one big project. But it's gonna depend a lot on what the ideas that come forward through the committee as far as what that money, what we're going to spend that money on.
Put a smaller swimming pool in instead of that big gymnasium. All of it.
Hey, that's $50 million.
I guess I agree with Lee. There might be some advantages of joining it on, but there also might be some disadvantages. Sometimes if it's a standalone project, you don't have to get engineers involved. If you put it in as part of the big contract, it's going to be someone's going to get it all and sublet that anyways, and the engineer is going to want his 15% for designing it in there. So there could be savings or there could be additional costs by putting it in there. So I think that's something we can look at as we get a little closer to that. So. I see Bill joined us. Welcome, Bill.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry for my lateness.
Oh, there.
I don't think so. I think if minor hockey and the skating club could over the course of the next week or two could provide staff with the names of the representative that you'd like to have sit on that committee, and then we can get started. We can schedule a meeting.
Okay. Richard or Bill, anything you wanted to add?
No, everything personally that I've heard sounds pretty good to me, and having that committee I think is a great thing, and keep the numbers down because you do more with less, especially on a committee. I go along with everything that's been said.
I know, Bill, you missed some of it. I don't know if we can recap afterwards if you like, but any comments from you?
Nope. I'll get caught up afterwards if that's okay.
Well, I guess that's fine if there's nothing else on the agenda. Oh, go ahead.
Just to go back to the whole Kraft Hockeyville, there will be an event coming in September. Kraft has kind of set out some framework for a committee to plan that event. Now, last couple of weeks, we haven't had any discussions with Kat from Kraft, but she sent some guidelines on probably 7 or 8 members of a committee to create and move forward with the planning. But that's where we're at. I don't believe any of those positions have been filled or anything. So now we will have something in our arena come September for this event. They haven't ruled out the hockey game, but chances are pretty slim. But
Well, and that's one thing to think about just as we get forward, and once we know more from Kraft, certainly that we may have to adjust when the ice goes in September to facilitate that. Typically we're making ice after Labor Day, so we're into the beginning of that third week of September before we have usable ice in there. So just to keep that in the back of everybody's mind, that once we know more from Kraft, that could adjust the timing slightly come September for ice.
Okay, I guess I know we're going to lose Janet here very shortly, and I'd like to thank her for helping us out in between other staff changes here. I think we'll all go through them anymore, but I maybe could kind of get you to just do a little, you talked very briefly about the name change, and I know we kind of started working on that again, but we're going to lose your knowledge. I'm sure you got lots of for Heather to look at, but go ahead.
There is a binder of everything. I have lots of notes. We do have some money. Last I looked at it, we are around $15,000 for towards the naming, like sponsorships and stuff for the renaming of the arena. We had planned an event and then had to stop it. So we do have a contract with and a deposit into the Hockey Hall of Fame for a display and events. Like they're going to play games and stuff like that as part of it. Then otherwise, that was about the only thing we'd really fully come down on, and we'd picked a date. We do have the gentleman, Mike Stubbs from London, had agreed to MC, and we had contacts and approvals from the London Knights to use Bo's likeness from there. They were willing to speak and be part of it if we wanted to. I have all the contacts in that binder, so it'll basically be, you'll just have to retouch base. Someone will just have to touch base with everyone again. The event, and then our contact for Bo is through Tim always. And they've made contact with the Islanders, who have approved, and they have no issue with using his likeness and or timing. Tim had said they were gonna, we did say to him that they don't know what teams are playing, and if it kind of comes from the teams who agrees to play. So he was gonna reach out to Bo's agent to see if they could have a conversation with the Islanders about playing the game, the Hockeyville game, because it's always Eastern Conference. So that's kind of where we're at. They're comfortable with doing whatever we want. They're thankful we're agreeing to do it. So if they can make it work in Bo's schedule, they will be here whenever.
So it is doable to get that as part of September. Yeah. A bit of work left to do though, but no obstacles. No,
I can't see it. We just have to confirm the dates with, I guess, when we find the date out with the contact for the Hockey Hall of Fame to make sure they can still come that day and do the setup and finalize their costs with them. Like we had a contract with them before, but it was just to book the date and this is the package we wanted. It may change a little bit. You may decide to scale that back or cancel and get our refund. We have that option still with them because of COVID and everything. So it's kind of that idea. If Kraft is going to do an event anyway at the arena, we may not need the Hockeyville, but like I said, we have sponsorship monies. It's all detailed out. We have it in a separate account, and we were going to put an advertisement out for that. So,
I know we had a committee that had met a few times, and I don't know if we want to.
You're about the only one left.
Okay.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Committee of one.
You are the committee of 10.
After
Friday, it will be the committee of 10.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Well, Heather was on that committee, but so she's still there. But
for 4 more weeks.
Okay. But I guess maybe that's something we can talk about it from the 2 municipality side to get something going there again. Don't want to.
Yeah. Like I can share everything even with you and Lee. Just I'll make sure I go over everything with Lee before Friday too.
Okay, good. Anything else? If not, I guess I need a mover and a seconder for the resolution to adjourn
And when do you want your next meeting?
and the next meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 9:32 again.
9:32.
I'll second it.
And I need the date for the next meeting. Where-
So if you follow your typical schedule, it would be the 17th of May, but if you want to do a different time, you can.
17th of May is fine.
Oh, the second week? Oh, I went with the third. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so the second would be the 10th of May.
That's not too far away. I don't know if there's much to no sense having a meeting if there's nothing to talk about. So maybe we put it off, or we could just leave it at the call of the chair if you want to. Okay, if that's all right with everyone.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, good.